Level 2.
Granted, okay. There's a little difference here, though, when you're talking about a table or a mirror compared to the Earth. I mean, if I look at a table or a mirror, I can see the whole mirror at once. I can see the whole table at once. I can tell that it's flat because I'm looking at the whole thing. But are you claiming to have seen the whole of the Earth and observed that it's flat?
Let me help you out, some guy. You don't actually need to see the whole thing. It's because any surface is going to be dichotomous in nature. It's either rounded or not, which is exactly what Nekos was trying to tell you. You don't need to see the whole of any surface. It can only be doing
So
one
you're
or
not
the other.
basing it on your observation then.
Just
You're not
one
really basing
second.
it on your observation. You're not seeing the
Just
whole
one
thing.
moment. One moment. I just pointed out to you that you don't need to see the whole thing because a surface can only be doing one or the other. Similarly, this is going to sound a little vulgar, but just to help you understand, like, if I were to, this is, again, it's going to sound a little vulgar, but if I were to see your private parts, only that, I wouldn't necessarily need to see your whole body to know whether you are male or female. That would identify you, and I don't need to see your whole body necessarily. Now, this would also
What, sorry,
apply to the surface.
can you say again, if you were to see my what? I honestly didn't hear what you said.
We'll move on. We'll move on. It's fine. But the point is that
It's okay. I'm not offended by it.
it would be nice if you just, am I not coming through clear or what?
Yeah, I think maybe you just said it really quietly. Here's another example if you like.
Okay. Well, I said if I were to see only your private parts, I wouldn't necessarily need to see your whole body. That would identify you being either male or female because that is something that's dichotomous. And I would say that the surface of any surface is also going to have this dichotomous nature where it's either one or the other. And the two options are either rounded or curved or not. And like Neko said, that other word you could use is flat. So you don't need to see the whole thing. Any surface is either going to be rounded or isn't. You could actually take just 30 seconds and look around your current room that you're in right now. You'll notice this exact same dichotomous nature. I would challenge you to try to find a surface that's both curving and round at the exact same time. You won't find it. Newsflash. So that would apply to the Earth as well. We don't need to see the whole thing. I would say this: if the lake in Radwin's backyard is curved, then all the water is curved. I don't need to see every single ounce of the Earth. But also, if it's flat, then it's all flat. So you don't need to see the whole thing, though. Hopefully, you learned that today. By the way,
Creation beer. I don't want to.
I'm just condescending. Yeah,
but can you correct me if I'm wrong?
You seem like you're trying to come off like you're an intelligent person. I'm surprised that you wouldn't know this. But if you didn't, well, I'm glad that you learned this today.
I'm not claiming to be an intelligent person at all.
Okay. Well, well, I'm glad you learned this today either way. This just something you might not have known previously, that you don't need to see the whole of something to identify, especially if it's dichotomous in nature. That's why I gave you that private part example.
Well, the argument going before was that the Earth is flat because I observe it to be so. But you're not really observing everything. You're just making an assumption that
everything
part of
I
it
just
that you've
went
seen is flat.
completely over your head.
No, I'm addressing what you've said.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, okay.
You're saying, well, you're not seeing the whole thing, which is what I just addressed and debunked basically, and you're just repeating yourself. So you didn't listen to anything I said. So that's unfortunate. That's why people like you get stuck in life.
Dumb. You sound
dumb. Okay, that's just an ad hom. It doesn't even address what I said to you. You're saying again that while you're not seeing the
but you don't kind of, yeah, you're telling me I haven't learned anything from this great vision that you explained to me.
Some guy,
I don't explain much.
That's fine. Some guy, you're saying that we need to see the whole Earth and to understand if we can describe what it is?
Well, I'm not saying you need to see that
it's exactly
say that.
Hold on, brother. Let me take this for a moment.
You haven't actually described anything that other people don't experience. Like, we can all experience the same flat horizon. It doesn't tell us anything about the actual scale of the Earth. If I take a circle that's say even 100 meters across, can I just say something?
Yeah, I know you're trying to you're detailing to us that we don't see the whole entire scope of what could be something else.
Yeah, so if you take a little slice that's only a centimeter long on the circumference of that circle, right, and then I show it to you, you'll look at that line and say, yeah, it's very flat. I can see that it's a straight line.
Some guy, I get what you're saying.
No, you wouldn't.
You don't have to. See, here's the thing: you don't have to keep going. Like some guy, we do get it, right? We're coming from a position where we understand what you mean. Okay, we all get it.
Okay.
So here's the problem: how are you going to know it's the thing you think it is? Because
how am I going?
Because here's the issue: we see the same thing, you and I, right? We're both seeing a flat horizon, correct?
Well, look, the difference in a lot of that is that I believe a lot of the other evidence
I know,
on,
I know,
for
I know you do.
example, video from space. I actually believe that those videos are taken from space, and I can see
That's
the curve
great,
of the
some
Earth.
guy. But
I understand that you don't, but that's
some guy,
okay.
you don't. Yeah, that's great. You don't have to say that, right? The only thing we're trying to determine is how someone like you can know for a fact that the Earth is what they've been told that it is, right? So we're all seeing the same thing on the surface. We're seeing a flat horizon. It describes the Earth, what it is to us in the local area. But how would you know it's anything other than that? That's what I want to know. Is it only because of videos that you've been shown, and that's the only way that you know it's other than what we experience?
I think the explanations given to me about the shape of the Earth make sense to me, and I believe in the observations of others a little more, perhaps, than you do.
Yeah, you trust other people to tell you what the world is outside of what you can see it for yourself, right?
I think by your rules, none of us can know anything for certain. So I'm prepared to say I don't know anything for
I'm
certain.
only trying to figure some guy. No, this is not my rules. What I'm discovering right now is how you think. Your thought process on you determining that the Earth is a globe is it based on you able to find that out for yourself, or is it just because you believe others can give you information and then that would be good enough? Which is like you just said, trusting the testimony of others. Maybe perhaps seeing some videos.
They're all observations in a sense.
No, they're not. An observation is something you do for yourself. It's a first-hand experience, right? So you go outside and you see the world around you. That's an observation. Now, what's not an observation? Hold on, some guy. What's not an observation? If somebody presents to you a video of Bigfoot, you can't say that's your observation. You see it happening on the screen, but you don't know because you're not seeing it in the field. You get what I'm saying? So you didn't experience that Bigfoot.
I'm also observing how they speak about it. I'm observing what they say about the camera that they used, how old the footage is. These are all observations I'm making.
That's great. No, they're not observations of their information. But see, here's the thing, though. Could you come to a conclusive understanding of that? You couldn't, right? You couldn't say for sure that Bigfoot exists. You could only go off of what they showed. So essentially, you can only know so much. But it's not really knowledge at all because you don't really know if Bigfoot exists based on what they're telling you. They can be very descriptive about it, but you don't really know.
You believed in Bigfoot based on the evidence presented before you, and you either do or you don't, or you're unsure.
Yeah,
I mean,
but see,
there's nothing extraordinary going on there.
Yeah, it is, because what's happening is you're taking on a worldview that you can't know for sure it's true or not. You're making a conscious decision to take this worldview on based on something that someone showed you or explained to you or whatever the case. But yet you didn't experience it yourself, so you're choosing to take this worldview on. Nobody has to.
What do you think is different about your worldview? What do you think is different about your view?
Well, it's simple, right? We understand that physics describe the physical and natural world. We understand that our observations match what physics describe about the physical and natural world. So for us, everything is...
What's your observation?
Observation of water being horizontal and planar on its surface and covering...
Well, we've discussed that. We can all see that. That's just that could just be a section of a larger curve. What's your other observations to suggest
this what we're talking about here has to deal with physics, some guy. It's not just a small portion of the Earth. Every Earth has water everywhere. So if water,
but you can't just say it's to do with physics. Explain specifically what you think.
So hydrostatic
That's
equilibrium, right? It is. So hydrostatic equilibrium.
Explain to me like I'm a dumb person.
Okay, so basically, water on its surface will always remain planar in large quantities. So if we're going to extend water out to any degree,
how do you know that?
Right?
How do you know that?
That's the physics of water. That's how it behaves.
But who told you that? Like, is that an observation that you've you've always observed?
An observation. Yes.
Okay, so tell me about the observation when you observed that.
Oh, the observation is that...
Where did it happen?
Yeah, everywhere. Everywhere water can be poured out, it can show itself to be exactly how we understand it, with the mechanics behind water, right? So as we describe how it spreads out over distance, it will always remain planar on its surface. It never changes its mechanics. It doesn't turn into something different. It always remains planar as it spreads out. So it doesn't matter how far it expands. So here's the issue, right? People would think that water expansion, out into the distance. Let's say you have a huge tank of water. It doesn't matter how much water you have. As you keep pouring that water will continuously spread out until it reaches a contained environment, right? Keep spreading out, keep spreading out, keep spreading out. But the problem is the mechanics of water never change like the way they say that the Earth as a globe would determine it to be. So we only understand and describe water behavior being such that it only expands outward and it stays planar on its surface. So what it does is water fills volumes, right? So like in your local lake or pond or whatever it is that you have nearby, any body of water, you can see that water is planar on its surface and it extends outward until it reaches a point where it can't go any farther because it could be contained. But that's the thing. The important part about it is
the size of the Earth that we're describing.
Yes.
And you haven't observed. I haven't observed it. So the fact is, neither of us can say for sure based on our observation alone.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. But let's look at water for just a moment, because this is what we're looking at. So if water was to do anything else within physics, right, within a description of how it's actually curved, like around the sphere, then we would be able to describe it in a way that physics would demand an explanation and a demonstration. So we can't just say water is curving on the surface of a sphere unless we have a way to describe this is the case. So this is like the most paramount way that we can describe the Earth being flat, is that water itself is a demonstration of the Earth's surface. So the Earth's surface is planar, it's horizontal, it extends outward. And because water shows us that this is the case, there's nothing in physics that disprove otherwise. So let's just say, for example, you have the mind that the Earth is a globe. That's fine. If you think that in a larger scale it turns into a globe, well, of course, water would be described in some way in physics that that's the case. We could demonstrate that because water would conform to the exterior of a sphere.
Like I said, I do trust the observations of others. I trust the formulas of others when they've worked out gravity and things like that. I definitely, I don't deny that I trust a lot of
you said that multiple
what would be called science.
But
so but I think you're trusting things too. No. I don't see how you're immune to trusting anyone.
We're not like you at all.
Think about this, some guy. Trusting somebody doesn't equate to you having the experience of the thing that they're telling you it is, right? So if, let's say, you trust somebody for the Earth being a globe, like what I just described with water, you can't demonstrate that the Earth is a globe in any way that they've shown you. They didn't show you in physics, right? Something that's applied. They didn't show you how water is conforming to the exterior of a sphere due to the fact that it's a sphere. They did not show you that. There's nothing in the mechanics of water that can demonstrate that. This is where I'm trying to get you to realize. It's not.
What do you think a blind person? If I was a blind person, what would I be capable of understanding about the world?
Okay, blind person. Why would that be introduced?
Because I wouldn't have I wouldn't be able to directly observe where anything is in my house. How could I know that it exists?
I don't know what that has to do with. Are you in some way saying that is this analogous to you being blind? Like, are you blind and saying that you can't know that the Earth is a globe based on you are like a blind person? Is this
it's an analogy because you're placing a lot of importance on observation as being able to tell the truth about things. Whereas if I were blind, I would not be able to directly observe these things.
Yeah, think about this, some guy. It's a part of our experience of the Earth, right? The experience of the Earth is we see things, but it's only part of it, right? We have to test and verify that the thing we're seeing is exactly what we're claiming it is. So it's not just seeing something, it's measuring it, sir. So that's how we know that water on its surface is planar. We know that it extends outward, and it doesn't matter how far you increase the size, it will always remain planar on its surface, unless, right?
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. Unless you have evidence to show otherwise. So here's the thing. If you have something to come forward and say, water is not planar on its surface as it extends outward into large quantities, I have evidence of that. That's what I'm asking for. Do you have such a thing, sir?
Well, no, but you're the one making a statement also that it's going to remain planar to infinity.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
You're
so
right. That is a positive affirmation.
Your limited
that is a
observation.
Positive affirmation. Sorry, go ahead. You go ahead.
It seems to me you've got a limited observation, but then you're extending it beyond your limited observation. What goes beyond that?
Well, the thing is...
And then you're saying the burden of proof is on somebody else.
Yeah, no, the thing is that we have what we do have on a localized area because that's as far as we can observe. Now, if we're to say that water does something differently, I think that would be explained in physics. It would be. And not only that,
it is explained in physics. I mean, I'm not a physicist, so I'm not going to pretend to be. But,
is it explained?
I believe it is explained, quite clearly.
Let's have it. Let's have it. Let's see how water does something other than what we know it to do based on physics. If you got anything, I would love to see
it responds to gravity, and gravity pulls all these objects towards the center of its mass.
Yes.
And so
that's what people
it makes
are
sense
saying,
that on a sphere it would stick to the outside of a sphere, of course.
But some guy, you got to think about it like this. Anybody can give you explanations, but if they don't have a way to demonstrate what they're saying, then how can you know it's true? You're taking someone's word for it, and you're not testing what they're saying to be true.
I don't know that it's true, but I believe it to be true based on the evidence of
what evidence
of everything that I've been told and observed.
Observed. No, sir. This isn't an observation. This is you believing that you've seen images.
Well, I've also observed. I've observed ships going over the horizon. I've observed the spherical nature of planets. I've observed that the predictions made by the globe model result. I've observed solar eclipses.
That's fine. Let's take it one at a time.
I've had plenty of observations which lead me to trust the evidence that the Earth is a globe as it flows.
Listen.
I'm just talking a bit longer. If I
don't have to go that hard. I understand you. Let's talk about the first one.
This isn't going to work.
Just
have to leave. See you guys. Bye bye.
Okay. See you later. Have a good one.
He just wants to yap, bro.
That's fine. He doesn't know how to deal with the issue. That's okay. But it's just hard. Sometimes some people can break through, some can't. Anyway,
He's cooked. As soon as he said, like, well, you're not seeing the whole thing, I knew he was dumb, like low IQ.
Yo, CB, I'm so sorry, brother. I didn't try to argue anything. It's just I'm trying to discuss this point with you. Don't take it bad, consider it bad or something. I don't have any bad intention. I'm not even trying to correct you. Maybe you are correct and maybe I'm wrong. So like I said, and for a tube, like that tube, that's surface, if you put a dot on that tube. So that surface is curving one way, on one axis to create that tube, but it is not curving in the other axis to make a ball. So it is flat and straight in the other axis. So it's a tube, a straight tube. So it's curving one axis, straight in the other axis, straight, level, flat. All synonymous.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Was that what
I know
we
what you're trying
were
to say,
talking
Nick,
about
first.
earlier? Is this something different?
He's trying to say that the surface can be doing two things at once. But you're even kind of proving my point, though. I just put it in the chat for you first. I would also say, is the Earth two surfaces or one?
No, one surface, but it's not curving in any direction. One single. The Earth is not like a cylinder or a ball. It's not curving in one direction, but flat in the other direction, and it's not curving in two directions, two axes to form a ball. So Earth is flat in all directions. So that's not the problem. I'm not talking about the Earth, but like I said, I'm just saying that a surface, a single surface, it can be flat and at the same time curved. So flat in one direction,
Wait a minute.
curved in the other direction.
Whoa. No. Are we talking about the Earth being flat and curved at the same time, Necros? Please answer that.
No. We are not talking about.
No, we're not. So then what are you saying? Because speak clearly with me, please. Plainly, clearly.
What I'm saying that if Creation Bear was talking about in general, a surface cannot be flat and curved at the same time. I'm saying that what we consider a surface that is curved on one axis, but straight and flat and level in the other axis. Like a tube.
No,
like a tube.
It's not the same surface.
Yeah, no, wait. Is this... Dude.
Like a tube.
Yeah, the surface of a tube, like you're saying it's on one axis, it's not curved. Like we're not talking about living on a paper roll. Like that's not what we're saying. The Earth here is a sphere or it's not. So either so the paradigm has to be what the claim is, right? We cannot say that it's a tube, it could be flat and curved at the same time because that's not what's being explained here. Okay, let's not go into other examples. We're only using the globe as what everybody thinks that it is. That's what we're using. We're confusing more people that way, Necros. Let's stick with just the Earth that they think that it is, which is a globe, it's a sphere, okay? You're doing too much, brother. That's way too much. Don't have to do that, sir.
Technically, it's more like an egg shape. That's what they said.
Okay, so...
Here we go.
Do you think the Earth is a globe, Basil?
Potato.
I honestly don't know, and I'm new to this shit, so I'll probably like say one shit out of line over like, shut up, fuck you, man. What do you know, you fucking rectangular or whatever? I don't know, man.
Dude, everybody's been told that.
But it is biblical. I'll give you that, and I'm not very religious, and I have a certain distaste. Like I just came from a religious room where this one guy was like speaking truth from experience and shit, and it was great. I was like, yeah, amen, brother, God bless, right?
Yeah,
and like,
that's not this room.
But these religious folks were like, no, shut up, that's not cool. Kind of but like what I will say is the flat earth model thing seems to be biblical, like it's in the Bible for what it's worth. And I'm not saying that I believe what I believe because it's in the Bible. I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, but that's from life experience, that's from real life stuff, not from being raised that way or anything.
Yeah, thanks for that. Let's look into
there's more evidence.
Room. I think let's look into the topic of the room real quick, Basil. So the topic of the room is
Perry shit was fake.
Sir, what'd you say? You talk right through.
I said that Katy Perry shit was faked, in my opinion.
That's okay, right? But let's talk about what's at hand here. So a lot of people believe that the Earth is a globe, right? I mean, you agree with that? A lot of people do.
I'm uncertain. I don't know. Like I said, I'm open-minded about it.
Our experience in this world is that many folk think that the Earth is a globe. There's something simple to agree with, dude. It's not.
Well, if that's what you're saying, yes, of course, I agree. Well, it's more like they agree. It's more like an egg-shaped globe, like it's because the poles elongated at the ends to be specific. But yeah.
Okay, so is there any reason why you would think that any of the information you believe the Earth to be, is it any of it true that you can prove? It being an egg. So you can't prove any of the things that you think the Earth is. You just believe it for what? For fun?
I didn't say I believe it. I said that I don't. I don't know.
Okay,
I've said
you
that
don't believe that.
times.
So what do you think the Earth is, Basil? In your estimation,
I said that I don't know multiple times. I'm still saying that I don't know.
Oh, so you're just really it's not really there with any of the
Sorry.
information. You don't think it's a globe. You don't think it's an egg. You don't think anything of it.
To be open-minded to realize that I cannot know conclusively with the evidence at hand, is that a not acceptable perspective to have, or what?
No, it's you can think whatever you want, dude. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's your mind. You can believe whatever you want to believe. But we're only asking for people if they think that the Earth is something that they believe that it is. They have any evidence for it? And
I mean,
if you were, go ahead.
I do believe that the Earth has a spiritual plane. You know, I've got experience and perhaps evidence for that.
Yeah. Do you have evidence of it being a spiritual plane, Basil?
I mean, not verifiable scientific evidence. I mean, audio and video stuff and first-hand experience shit, but all could be faked, so not verifiable.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing that you're actually identifying what verifiable is. No, that's fine. So
I have a science mindset with most
ahead,
things
sir.
in life.
I think every time
I'm just saying I have a science
I don't know if
mindset
you can hear
with
me or
things.
not, but every time I start speaking, you go right through me, sir.
Go ahead.
Go. No, I'm not allowing you. I want you to finish.
I was just agreeing with you. I have a scientific mindset on things, most things.
I know. My
Like
love.
if I experience it more, if the pattern occurs more and
That
I
wasn't
observe
you.
it more, then it's more real to me.
All right. So if that's true, right, then you would have some way to substantiate that. But of course, like for you, it means it's real to you. Now, the thing I want to pose to you, right, at the moment, the Earth, what everybody thinks that it is, could only be substantiated as what it is and not what they think it is. So that's what I want to give you right now. So the only way we can describe the Earth is how we experience it, right? We can't describe the Earth in any way outside of our experience. Would you agree with that?
I would disagree with that for sure. Yeah, there's
Really?
many a tool. There's many a tool in science that can perceive things outside of human perception. You can use to measure things. Yeah, fucking oath. Like, what? Do you live in a cave?
Okay, so give me one.
Do you see in like ultraviolet light? Can you have X-ray vision of things?
Yeah, I get what you mean. No, what I mean is like what the Earth is.
Our visible
Not
light
the description
spectrum
of
is
the
so
properties.
small.
Yeah, not the description of the properties of the Earth we live in, but actually what the Earth is. So not the properties of Earth, what the Earth is. Like if I'm telling you that the Earth is a sphere, then I would have a device that would show me that it's one. Yeah, you get what I mean? Be a sphere.
Yeah. So you could theoretically build that device. The technology exists. It just needs to be scaled up. Like think like the X-ray radar that they used at Giza recently to see the shit underneath it, right? Yeah. So like think that, but scaled up. You could do that on a whole planet scale. Then you would know what's underneath the Earth, which I find is way more interesting than what's above. Honestly, because I reckon there's things underneath there.
Have you poured yourself over the device that was used and understand whether or not the claim was that they actually saw something underneath those pyramids, or was it something akin to they think that it's something? Because see, there's nothing really substantiated in what they were doing over there. If you've looked into the articles.
Patents on the technology that they use is verified. I've looked into that. It does exist. It is verified, and what they saw using that technology, is verified.
Yeah, but you can't know unless you dig underneath the pyramid and find out if that stuff is actually there, or if it's just a reading that the device is giving that could be not what they're saying it is. So the verifiable
in the same sense,
dude. Why are you talking about what's under pyramids?
Yeah, he's trying to say that there's devices. Hold on, Basil. Hold on. He's trying to say that there's devices that can be used to identify what the Earth is outside of what a normal person could experience. So he's saying that this device that could see underneath the pyramids could be a device that could be used to see the Earth in a way that we can't see with our eyes and experience.
Theoretically, if scaled up.
Theoretically, if scaled up, but you don't know that because it's this idea you have, Basil. We're talking about right now.
That's what a theory means.
Yeah, I know, but we're talking about right now. I meant in the real world, currently right now, is there any device that can determine that the Earth is a globe based on what people think it is and not what it actually is?
Yes, a rocket ship.
A rocket ship. How do you know this is true, sir?
Because if you were in a rocket ship and you went up there, then either if it's true that there's a big dome, then you'll bounce off it. If it's not, then you'll fly past that shit and look at it.
We're not talking about domes at the moment. We're only talking about verifying with some device that the Earth is a globe, and you're saying a rocket ship will do that. But you can't
listen to what I'm saying. You use the rocket ship to go up into space, and either you hit the dome, or if there's no dome, you fly past it, and then you look back. You look back at the Earth, sir.
This is the issue, Basil.
How do you not understand this logic?
It's not logical because you're thinking that if you get in a rocket and you go up, you're going to go into this place called space. this is what you believe. You believe with all your mind, your heart, and soul that this is what's going
No,
to
you're not
happen if you get in a
listening. I
rocket.
said, or hit the dome, or whatever is there. You're just totally ignoring that part of what I said.
So how do you know? How do you know if you've never experienced that
I
could
don't
be the
know.
truth?
I
There you
don't
go.
know.
No domes.
So then-
We're not talking
I never
about
said I
domes
did
either.
know.
No
Fucking
domes. Stop talking about domes.
Congratulations.
Nobody's flying in rockets into space either.
Yeah, that's the issue, Basil. Nobody's going up in rockets, so you can't say that this is a way to prove something because you can't verify it and then say this is true. You can't do that. You're just believing a lot of stories that you've been.
Why
told. There's
can't I
nowhere to get
go
to.
in? Why can't I get into a rocket and go into space?
Oh, can
All right,
you?
be my
Have
guest.
you
Go
done
right
that?
ahead.
Have you done that?
No, I'm just saying, like theoretically,
Like,
why
have you done
can't
that?
I? If there was
I'm
one
asking
there,
you. Well,
and
then
I
if
just
it's,
jumped
if
on
it's
it.
possible, Basil, if it's possible, you could do that right now. Then why hasn't it been done?
I'll tell you why. Because space is fake. That's why you can't go in a rocket.
Yeah, let's do
Sure,
this. None
but
of it.
you haven't been there. I haven't been there. None of us.
Okay,
fucking
so then
know,
why would you say it's a
realistically.
way to verify that the Earth can be a globe, sir? This is the easiest thing
Because
for you to,
I'm
for
saying,
us to debunk.
do you
dude.
understand the concept of theories, theoretical thought?
We're not talking about
You
theories.
are
Remember
asking
when
me
I
for a
first started?
concept
No,
of
I'm
how
not.
I could verify
No,
this.
not a
I'm
concept.
giving you clear, plain as day logic.
Basil,
what I
I
could
was-
do.
I
I
was
could
not
get
Space
asking
rockets
for a
are
concept.
as real as
go
Star
into
Trek Enterprise.
whatever is up there, and then I could look with my senses and then
That's
report
great.
what the
But I
fuck is
was
there.
not asking for a concept, Basil. What I was asking for is a real world method in which you can verify with some device or
How the
some
fuck is
kind
that
of
not
way.
a real world method? How the fuck is
Then
that
tell
not a
me
real
then
world method?
if it's real, if it's a real way that you
Rockets
can
are real,
verify.
yes.
Yeah, okay,
Alright,
rockets are
provide
real.
your
Or you don't believe in
Are
rockets?
they,
You
Provide your evidence.
Are they flying into
provide
the
my
vacuum of-
evidence for rockets.
Hold on,
You could
dude.
go to
Hold
a fucking
on.
test site where they launch.
Just a minute, dude. Just a minute. Are they flying into the vacuum of
So
space?
fucking dumb.
Are they flying into the vacuum of space, Basil? I'm asking you a question.
You're not being intellectually honest. I've already told you multiple
asking
times.
you
I
a
don't
question.
fucking know. I don't
Okay,
know.
then-
I don't
okay, you
know.
don't know.
And you're speaking over the answer. You argumentative cunt.
You don't know. You just said you don't know. So then why would this be
Always
an
said I.
instance-
Always said that. Always said
Yeah.
that. This isn't
Okay,
a
so we're
gotcha
starting
moment,
off-
man. This is a
so we're
dumbass
starting off-
conversation.
Yeah, we're starting off with you don't know, and then we're moving to where that you know in some way. Because I was asking for a real world device or something you can use to determine that the Earth is what they're claiming it is, like a globe. And you said a rocket. And then at the end of all of
Yeah.
that, after all of that, I asked you how you determine. You're saying you don't know. So there's no way to determine that the Earth is a globe. Apparently, what you're telling me.
Man, what you were doing is such low res straw manning, man. I can't be bothered. It's
You're the
fucking
one that
dumb,
said you
man.
don't know, Basil. I mean, I'm just repeating back what you said.
You're the one that said you, bro.
Yeah,
this is
and then you
5-year-old
said that
logic.
you were dumb for not knowing what you don't know.
No.
I never said that either. And now
Yeah,
what's
if
going on is the
rockets were
tribe will
true,
back
then
on you
that's
because you're
evidence,
part of the
right?
religion.
I
You'll be
wanna
like,
see-
yeah, let's throw shade on the one that's actually speaking logic.
Yeah, if you're going to provide rockets and some
Enjoy
kind of
living in a
evidentiary or logical
cult.
proof, provide evidence for the rockets.
Oh, he left.
he's fired
Yeah,
over
what a
here.
crybaby.
Yeah, it was a
You couldn't decide whether or not rockets are real.
or if he could determine that they determine that the Earth is a globe. So yeah, it's a lot of issues. And then at the end, he's like, "I never said. I don't know." It's like, okay,
Yeah, I don't know if rockets are real, but you guys are stupid for denying they exist in space.
that's so funny. Hey, what's up, Braddock? Yeah, I'm just the second guy that's
Sorry
part of
for
that.
like jumping all over that. It sounded like it was already a train wreck.
Oh yeah. It's been pretty spicy this morning, anyway. This is like the third caller, by my count. So.
Is it a full moon?
Oh no, I hope so. It's always full moons are fun.
Let's get another hater on the line.
A hater on the line. Who else we got? Well, you guys are gonna carry it on. I'm just gonna listen. I'll be a listening mode.
Who needs a shock radio DJ when people call into our show?
Me. I need that. We have Eric. Let's join the panel. Welcome, Eric.
Hey,
Hey. Is this your first time here? You've been here before.
been here before.
Nice.
Have you been here
So-
before?
I have. Yes.
Ooh.
So you've talked to Flat Earthers before.
Yes.
Nice. What did they say?
Say again?
What did they say?
That it's what?
All right. Anything else?
No, nothing, no worry.
So what is Flat Earth? Okay. Jeff, does anybody have questions for him?
You like schnitzel?
I do not like schnitzel.
You don't like schnitzel?
Chat, does anybody have questions for Eric?
Hurry up, chat.
Okay, do you like pork or chicken schnitzel? Which one?
I prefer chicken, but I also like pork.